Did you hear that? The entire NFL just said, oh,
elbow, forearm, he's going to be down.
The result of the play is a touchdown.
And then the flag that was thrown on this was picked up.
I don't know, did it get the face mask?
So by rule, the game is over.
The Lions Hangover.
Welcome to a Victory Friday special of the Lions Hangover podcast. Of course, this is the weekly post-game podcast within a day of the game, every week after every game. Before we dive into this awesome recap, it's a good day. I'm feeling happy. Let's take care of the business. I am Brad. I am your sexy host. You can find me on all of the social medias except Threads right now. I should probably stop saying that and just get on Threads, right? Is it a big deal? I don't know anybody that's really using Threads, but I should probably just get on board. Of course, you can find me also at Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you are only listening to me, guess what? This is also available on YouTube, at least through the season. I do a few audio-only episodes during the off-season, which are always fun and entertaining as well. I'm going without my glasses today, so hopefully you won't see too much. I can't see my monitor. You won't see too much of the ring light. Is it just me, or did somebody get a haircut? That's right. So let's talk about this game. The Lions opened the NFL season with a victory over the Kansas City Chumps. Boom! I said that talking smack already. Of course, I would not have dared say that 24 hours ago. No, the Kansas City Chiefs. Where do we begin with this? I guess I will just start breaking it down and throw in my opinions from there, as I always do, and that's all I have are opinions. That's all anybody has is just opinions. The Lions scored first, which at that point you're thinking, hey, great. It was a 9-yard pass from Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown for the touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, first touchdown of the NFL season, of the entire NFL, first touchdown. Congrats, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, the Chiefs come back in the second quarter. Rashee Rice with a 1-yard pass from Patrick Mahomes, and then Blake Bell with a 4-yard pass from Patrick Mahomes with just a few minutes or a few seconds left in the first half. At that point, the Chiefs were winning 14-7. Of course, you're nervous, right? We're giving the ball away after the half, which I hate. Man, I almost missed kickoff. I was stuck at some chicken wing restaurant. It was crazy busy. Everybody was just so excited for this game. Now, coming out in the third quarter, the draft starts to pay off. Mr. Brian Branch, Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm calling it now. I believe I said it in my prediction episode. Brian Branch, 50-yard interception return, a pick six. I think Patrick Mahomes to this point had never thrown an interception in an opening game. Patrick Mahomes to this point was undefeated in an opening game. But the Lions tie it up 14-14, and you're starting to feel kind of good because time is coming off of the clock, and you're thinking the Lions are in this thing. So here comes a Harrison Butker field goal with 2:10 left in the third quarter, 35-yard field goal. So that takes them to 17-14. And then you get another Harrison Butker 39-yard field goal with 12:11 remaining in the fourth quarter. This makes it 20-14. Now you are still feeling good. But with 7 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, David Montgomery has a 8-yard touchdown run. And I love this. You could tell when Montgomery got the ball, he knew he was getting in the end zone. He bounced off of like two guys. There was nothing that was going to stop him. For the most part, let's break into how I think the game went, I guess. I don't think either team played that great. Of course, Kadarius Toney for the Kansas City Chiefs, he was almost an MVP for the Lions because of how many drops he had. And if it wasn't for the ball bouncing off of his hands, Brian Branch would not have had that pick six. Regardless, the Lions capitalized on those key moments when they needed to. But yeah, neither team played that great. The Chiefs are, of course, probably blaming the loss of Travis Kelce and Chris Jones for their ultimate demise of this game. But, the Lions are without Jameson Williams. He's a weapon for us. I mean, we don't know it, but he definitely changes the game plan. Right now, you can't tell me that if Jameson Williams was on the field, that Kansas City would not game plan for him. One thing I thought I would see more of, I thought I would see more Jahmyr Gibbs in the slot. I did not. I was surprised to see Amon-Ra St. Brown in the backfield that one time. I think was that on the Montgomery touchdown. It might have been. I think it was on that drive where I saw St. Brown line up in the backfield. I was kind of surprised by that. Jared Goff played, I will say, mediocre, but he didn't turn the ball over. So I think that says a lot. His streak continues of not turning the ball over. The Lions overall took care of the ball. They did have one fumble, didn't they? I believe they did. I'll get to that in a second as I start to break down more stats. There was a time when Gardner Johnson, man, I love this defense. This defense didn't even play that great last night, but they at the same time they played great. It was weird. You can see that there's still so much more potential left for this defense. We have a long way to go. And I think this is something where if we played the Chiefs again in like week 10, I think we would beat them again. Because you're going to argue that, well, yeah, the Chiefs would have Kelce back. They would probably have Chris Jones because he's going to sign. For every game the Chiefs lose is just going to give Chris Jones more negotiating power. So he's probably secretly rooting for them to lose just so he can get paid. Like just negotiating tactics. But the Lions are going to get better throughout the entire season. The offense is going to click. It didn't really look like the offense was clicking, but there were still highlights from the offense. The defense really didn't look like it was clicking, but there were still awesome highlights from the defense. You can see, lucky or not lucky, we play the Chiefs again in week 10. If we had to, we would beat them, and I feel like it would be more decisively a victory. Just the Lions have a long way to go, but they're already starting out on top. That's just my opinion. It's just what I saw. I didn't like a lot of decisions that Jared Goff made. I thought some of his throws were inaccurate, as usual, too low. There were some overthrows. There were some, what the hell are you doing throws? But still, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mr. Reliable. Sam Laporta, freaking amazing. He had like 5 catches. He caught everything that came his way. Jack Campbell had one of the best pass breakups of last night, and had CJ Gardner-Johnson caught that ball, that would have justified the free agent signings in the off field or in the off season. It just, that ball hit him right in the hands. I think that was in the second half too, and it was just like, oh my God, Lions are going to get another interception. And I thought there was that one play from the camera angle, it looked like Jerry Jacobs was going to get another interception, but it was actually a good play by the Kansas City Chiefs receiver. Regardless, Lions have a long way to go. Chiefs played like crap too, but it was kind of what I was saying in the prediction episode. Mahomes, somehow he wins, so I can't say he's overrated, but something about him, like just fundamentally, he's too much of a playground quarterback, too much of he's just gotten lucky. I think people like in the past Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce have helped him out, and clearly he's hurt by not having those guys anymore. Kadarius Toney, didn't come through for him, and they kept targeting him the whole time. Hey, I feel like you dropped 3 passes, I'm going to stop throwing to you, but he had like 4 or 5 drop passes. So I mean, kudos to them for keep giving him opportunities, but it didn't work out for them. I would have been using somebody else. man, I know they had high expectations for him too. So he's not off to a good start. But this is about the Lions. It's not about the Chiefs. So Goff, he finished 22-35 with 253 yards of passing and 1 touchdown. But it is those 13 incomplete passes and half of those completed passes where it's like, man, can we do a little bit better? I don't think he threw a ball further than 22 yards all night. I think he only had one pass that was over 20 yards. So the deep threat needs to be there. David Montgomery, I love seeing what we did from him. He had 21 carries for 74 yards and 1 touchdown. And Josh Reynolds got probably a quarter of his receptions that he will get all season. He got those today. Or last night, I should say. He had 4 receptions for 80 yards. Now, on the Kansas City side of the ball, Mahomes went 21 of 39 for 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Stat line, I love Jared Goff stats more than Patrick Mahomes. So this is where we talk about how the Lions can stop the run. They cannot stop a running quarterback. The leading rusher for the Kansas City Chiefs, you guessed it, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. He had 6 carries for 45 yards. They had nobody covering him. Now, part of this was, let's say, non-holding calls on Aiden Hutchinson. I feel like he was probably held 70% of the time last night. And you think, oh, Brad, you're just being a homer. No, everybody saw it. I put it out there on Twitter. Plenty of people noticed that Hutchinson was getting held pretty much all of the time. And the other thing that they noticed was the right tackle of Kansas City. He was probably half the time jumping offsides, false starts, and these are things that went overlooked by the officiating crew last night. And what is it about old officials that have to be like built, man? That ref, he had like some arms, dude. He was kind of jacked. Time of possession, the Lions led with 32 minutes, 38 seconds. The Chiefs only had 27 minutes, 22 seconds. The Lions had 368 total yards of offense. The Chiefs only had 316. The Lions ran 70 total plays, where the Chiefs ran 62. The Lions had 19 first downs, and the Chiefs only had 17 first downs. So let's take a look at the rest of the stats. Jahmyr Gibbs, he ran the ball 7 times for 42 yards. I kind of wanted to see more from Gibbs. That does give him an average of 6 yards per carry. His longest run was 18 yards. It was a pretty sweet run. Jared Goff had 5 carries for -1 yards. So that's a total of -0.2 yards per carry. And of course, Jalen Reeves-Maybin had 1. He's listed as having 1 carry, 3 yards. I don't remember him carrying the ball. What was that? I don't know. Somebody tell me. Now, Josh Reynolds led the team with yards as far as reception goes, but Amon-Ra St. Brown led the team with receptions. He had 6 receptions for 71 yards, and of course that touchdown. Sam Laporta was second with the 5 receptions for 39 yards. I was really happy with what I saw from Laporta. He looked very reliable. You can kind of tell he's going to be a big part of this offense too. So right off the bat, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery. These guys are all pro caliber players, and they're all on one offense. Just from one game. This is just what you're taking from this. Marvin Jones, I thought, had a decent game. He only had 2 catches. Brock Wright only had 2 catches too. They did try to throw to Jones a few other times, but I think they were bad throws. Marvin Jones did have that fumble, though. Yeah. Come on, Jones, get it together. Frank Ragnow was listed with a fumble as well. Jared Goff recovered that. So when there's a botched snap, is that on the center? I guess so. So anyway, Anzalone led the Lions with tackles along with Derek Barnes. They each had 6 each. Gardner Johnson, I thought he had a fantastic game. He also had some solid pass breakups. I don't think, did he get called? No, Cam Sutton got called for that pass interference. When it was live, I didn't think it was pass interference, but when they showed the replay, you could tell the receiver was probably trying to slow up, and Cam Sutton probably forced some momentum on him. It's actually a good call by the ref. I don't have a problem with that. The thing is, I don't think I would have called it watching it live, so it was actually a pretty good call. Gardner Johnson had 2 pass defendeds. Alex Anzalone had 1, and Jack Campbell had 1. The Jack Campbell pass deflection was amazing. The dude dove like 5 feet vertically to like block this pass from getting into the hands of the Kansas City receiver. I thought it was pretty amazing. No sacks on Patrick Mahomes, and I feel like Hutchinson probably should have had 2 or 3 sacks. He was held, like I said, everybody saw it. There was at least 3 or 4 times he was held legit, like when it was going to be a sack. So Houston almost had that sack, but he only had one arm wrapped around Patrick Mahomes' leg. You got to get both legs, man. He kept trying to twist his foot around, which looked kind of funny, but that's not going to work. You got to get both legs if you're going to take any quarterback down, especially if you're laying on the ground. Brian Branch had that 50-yard interception, which was sweet. Man, I love that dude. He might be my favorite rookie this year, so can't wait to see more from him. The punting god, Jack Fox, he had 5 punts for 44 yards, and he was, out of the 5, he was inside the 20 3 times. There was one time I feel like the Lions should have gone for it. You could tell they decided to punt it because it was within field goal range, but not Riley Patterson's field goal range. And that makes me nervous because I feel like they should. You got to give Riley Patterson a chance. I mean, ultimately, it probably was the right call. And, oh, my God, as I'm talking about it, I'm reminded of the fake punt. I called it, too. Right before they did it, I was like, it'd be crazy if they did a fake punt right here. Why are you doing a fake punt on the 20-yard line? That's insane. But, man, was it exciting. It was really exciting. I was happy they did it. If you're going to do it, the beginning of the game is the time to do it. So, and that, of course, led to the extended drive that led to the Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown. Riley Patterson did connect on all 3 of his extra points, and Jack Fox's longest punt was 61 yards. You guys want to do the Kansas City stats? Why not? It's going to be a short episode anyway, because there's not really anything to talk about as far as next week goes, because nobody else has played. Who's got data on the Panthers? No, they play the Seahawks next week, right? Yeah, I think so. So Patrick Mahomes, like we said, finished 21 of 39 with 226, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. His quarterback rating was a 77.5. What was Jared Goff's was like 90-something. Yeah, 94.1. His QBR was 64.2, which is an ESPN stat. Mahomes' longest carry was 16 yards. The next leading rusher was Isaiah Pacheco. He only had 8 rushes for 23 yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 6 rushes, 22 yards. Ultimately, the Chiefs had 23 rushing attempts for 90 yards. So the Lions held the Chiefs to under 90 yards rushing. Don't tell me they can't stop the run. They cannot stop running quarterbacks, scrambling quarterbacks. They need to fix this. This is going to burn them. This will burn them down the season. There's not a receiver on Kansas City that had more than 4 receptions. That's Isaiah Pacheco. He had 4 catches for 31 yards. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he led the team in receiving yards. He had 48. He was only targeted twice. He caught the ball twice. Whereas our man Kadarius Toney, he caught the ball once for 1 yard on 5 targets. He had 4 drops, 4 legit drops, and one of those led to a pick 6 by Brian Branch. I can't get over that. Tackling, defense, Trent McDuffie had 8 tackles. Let's see. Mike Dana had 1 sack. They only had the 1 sack against Goff. We got to talk about Goff. Enough with this Kansas City stuff. Goff, you got to get more aggressive. You got to get more athletic. But that doesn't mean I want you to make stupid decisions. But when you're looking to the right for 3 wide receivers and there's nobody open, but you just happen to glance to the left and there's an open field for you to just take off and scramble for 2 or 3 yards. There was a time when the Lions decided to pass 4th and 2, and What, he gets sacked or he made an incomplete throw, something like that. You're telling me Montgomery or Gibbs can't get you 2 yards? You can't just grab him by the face mask and give me these 2 yards, and then just send these guys out? Like, the play calling was questionable at times, and it wasn't the best game by Ben Johnson. I feel like Ben Johnson got inside of Ben Johnson's head, and he tried to get a little bit too crazy at times. There was a lot of times, I've already seen it on Twitter and or X, whatever you want to call it these days, where Goff was clearly not able to make improvisations during the play. He left several wide receivers open. There was one where Amon-Ra St. Brown was wide open, heading down the field, in the middle of the field, nobody around him, and it just wasn't part of Goff's progressions. And Goff had plenty of time to make this throw. So these are things that drive me nuts about Goff. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of getting on board with Goff. And then last night, I was... he took a step back. I was ready to take a step forward with him. I give him a lot of grief, I'm aware. But I just see him do things that other quarterbacks don't do, and I don't mean that in a good way. His decision-making ability drives me nuts. His lack of aggressiveness. Scramble. Don't take sacks. You don't have to throw the ball out of bounds. Just run. Just run. That would be it. Run. Find the open receiver, which that's a little bit harder to do. I get that. You only have so much time. You can't look at everybody all the time. You're supposed to, of course, in a perfect world you would. But what you can see is the 15-yard hole to your left that you should just be able to run straight down and get yourself a first down. Get yourself 5 yards, 6 yards, something. Make a positive out of a nothing, just run the freaking football. And then you can be my quarterback. Right now you're my quarterback, but not by choice. Yeah, we're struggling with this one. We're going to struggle with Goff all season. I know it. So, next week, the Lions, they are playing the Seattle Seahawks. There's not much to say about this. I did say in the prediction game that I feel like the Lions are going to win this. I don't think it'll be close. I think the defense will be better. I think the offense will be better. I'm expecting a 2-touchdown victory. They're probably only going to be favored by like 6 points. I don't even know what the spread is right now because nobody else has played. We have to wait another 2 days for the next football game. So there's not much scouting report. So it's not like I can say the Lions are going to be able to run on them. Lions are going to be able to throw on them. I have no idea. I would say expect the same from the Lions. You're going to see a heavy load for David Montgomery, who ran the ball 21 times. I would expect to see him running about 15 times. Probably Gibbs about 12 times. They're probably going to balance this out a little bit more, but look for Montgomery to have more receptions and look for Gibbs to have more receptions as well. It's just one football, and they have a lot of options to pass it around. So it's going to be a good season. I think deep down we all wanted the Lions to win, but I think deep down not all of us thought the Lions could win. I did think the Lions could win, but I just didn't think they were gonna. I did not think. But of course you watch the game, things play out, and it's like, okay, we're trending in the right direction, and the entire league has to be. They watched that last night. The entire league watched the Lions beat the Super Bowl champs. And they can say whatever they want about the Chiefs, but the Lions didn't have a good game either, and they found a way to win. And they are now a serious opponent for the rest of the NFL. Rest of the NFL should be a little bit nervous. The Bears should be nervous. The Packers should be nervous. Do you think the Vikings should be nervous? Do they really think they would have gone into Kansas City and won last night? Do they think they would have done that? I think 70% of the NFL would have lost against the Chiefs, and every one of the teams in our division would have lost. So the Lions are only going to get better. They're only going to get better. This is a young team. This is a team that hasn't played much together. Our defensive backfield They've got little to no chemistry right now, except for the 2 months of off season that they've had. This is their first game, and they played great, but they still played bad. But it's like you can see it's going to come together. I hope that all makes sense. Ford Field is going to be rocking. I can't wait to see it. I wish it was 9 days from now already. I am ready to go. Ready to go. You guys can't see it. I always wear Lions gear, but I got Lions shorts on. So, yeah. Got a haircut, too. Yeah. All right. So I think that's it for me. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are as excited about this season as I am. Sorry for rambling so much. I am just really excited, and my thought process was all over because it's like as I was reading the stats, I was reminded of something else that happened in the game. Let's do this real quick. My aspirins, my game aspirins, I'm going to give it to Laporta, Sam Laporta, game aspirin. Amon-Ra St. Brown, game aspirin. Jack Campbell, game aspirin. Brian Branch, game aspirin. This is a whole bottle of aspirins. Yeah. CJ Gardner-Johnson, game aspirin. Am I missing anybody? Did I say Brian Branch? He should get a game aspirin. Jack Campbell, game aspirin. Laporta, game aspirin. Montgomery, game aspirin. Amon-Ra, game aspirin. Boom. I think that's it. So, good job, Lions. Way to go. I will see you guys next week after the Seattle game. I'm excited. Bye-bye.